Welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel and another episode of Project Porsche number 1, our 986 generation Porsche Boxster S track car. This is our original Project Porsche here on the channel, not to be confused with Dragon Slayer, the 944 S2, or Spicy Jalapeno, our Cayenne S. Those will all be covered in other videos. Today we're talking about the Boxster. We're getting it ready for the season. So this car originally we built for C Street Autocross for SCCA, did that for a few seasons, ran National Tour and National Pro Solo, things like that. Had a lot of fun with it, and then the Indy 2 came out, and well, that was that. So we were looking at other classes, and last year we decided to actually make the switch to Time Trial, which is the SCCA version of Time Attack. So went and did a couple of those events and some other track days, had a ton of fun with the car, and then it's been sitting all winter, and now it's time to get it ready to go. We have annual tech in a couple of weeks for PCA, and then SCCA is following that, or before that, I can't keep them straight, but we've got a lot of things to do on the car to get it ready. The first biggest change that you can see, for those of you that have followed this project, is a lid. Now, the Boxster does not need a hardtop for any track work because from the factory, Porsche actually rates these as rollover protected. These roll bars here, these are real steel. These are not fake. These are not style bars. These are real. They're designed to hold the weight of the car, and so are the A-pillars. So in fact, the Boxster is one of the few cars that does not need to run any kind of top or any kind of additional roll bar in order to do on-track work, whether it be track days or Time Attack or Time Trial. However, when you run with the soft top up, and it's a bit drafty and it's a bit unaerodynamic. And, in the rainy seasons and stuff like that, when we have track days in the spring and fall, granted our winter day here is beautiful, but these things happen. It'd be nice to have a top. So, a local person was selling this hardtop in a gorgeous kind of bluish purple color for a 986, and a friend of ours from Grassroots Motorsports community emailed us to jump on it, and we emailed the person, and he actually even delivered it and everything on his almost identical silver Boxster. So that's pretty cool. So we now have a hardtop for the car for those events. The other thing we have is last year we were having some issues with some smoke and some codes, and it was a cat failing. Our driver's side cat was actually failing on the car, so we picked up this used unit. We do have to clean it up and install it, but it has all of its substrate medium in the inside. We looked at aftermarket cats, but frankly they don't work as well, and I'd rather put on a low mile used original cat that's full of the good metals on the inside, keep the car emissions legal, all that good stuff. It'd be really fun to put long tube headers on it, not have cats and all that, but when it comes to it, I'd rather keep the car more streetable and less stinky. So got to put that on the car eventually. But in order to get through tech and stuff, got to make sure all the safety stuff is done. However, you can see we're sitting on some really funky, not the right wheels. They're really tiny here in the back. This is our spare set of 17s that we're going to do something with eventually for this car. It's just sitting on this on the moment because when we went to go do the hardtop, we were actually going to go pick it up with the Boxster, because the best way to transport it is literally on the car. And we got about 15 miles down the road when this happened. These are our Kuma Exo V720 tires, and look at this. Internal belt failure. So for those that don't follow the car, don't know the story, these are Kuma Exta V720s. They're a 200 tread wear tire. They're good for autocross. They're really popular for track days and things like Lucky Dog and Le Mans and the endurance tracking. Not the super ultra grippiest for one lap or autocross or anything like that. But for what we were doing, they were really good tires. And honestly, they were great. You could see the wear pattern on them is really nice. These have a Time Attack, 2 track days, and 2 autocrosses on them, plus however many street miles to get to all that stuff. And again, we take care of our tires. We check the air pressures all the time. We air down at the track. We air back up before driving home. And all of our stuff, frankly, has good tires on it that we take care of like that. We've never had any tire issues until this. So the car sat inside for the winter for a couple of months, but it was driven fairly regularly, and again, everything aired up to street pressures like it's supposed to be, 15-20 miles down the road, and we didn't hit anything. There's no impact marks, there's no holes, the tire holds air pressure. I do have it aired down right now to about 10 psi. When it was at full pressure, this thing was huge, and it's got one here too on this side. So really not happy with what's going on with the Kumos. This was our first set of Kumos, and I can tell you this will be our last set of Kumos. So the V720s aren't made anymore. Now they're under the 730s. But doing some research online and talking to some other racers and stuff, this is apparently pretty darn common on these. Kind of this internal belt failure without warning thing. So Tire Rack is warranting these for us, which is great, because again, they're less than a year old and they have probably less than 1,000 miles on them altogether. But we've got some Falcon RT660s coming. So that's why these are off the car, so I could bring them to the tire shop and have these swapped out for the Falcon. So once we got the tires back and on the car, we'll be almost ready to go. The hardtop is just sitting here. It's not actually bolted down, which you can tell by the ginormous gap in the wiring hanging out for the rear defroster. And that's because we found out you actually need, where is it in my pile of parts here? Here we go. Magical pile of parts. Even though every Boxster is made with the receiver for the hardtop, you need these little twisty lock inserts in order to actually bolt it down. I thought that was kind of lame that you needed this extra part just to do it. And these are honestly pricey. This is kind of the first P-Tax part we've run across for the car. Everything else has been pretty, pretty reasonably priced, pretty affordable, even cheaper than some of the other cars. But yeah, these things are like 120 or 140 bucks for the pair of them and the bolts. But, pretty situational. You have to have a Boxster. You have to have a factory hardtop for it and want to use the factory cam locks in order to do those. And you can find them used for cheaper, but when it comes to something like that, I'd rather just put the new ones on. So this is my magical pile of parts. I got to put that on the car so we can bolt the hardtop down. We did get a set of used air screens that'll actually stay in. We're missing one of ours. We only have one. And I do have a few other things to do to the car for the new season, including obviously an oil change, because you should change your oil before every season if you're not already changing it more than that. We also have those fancy brake ducts that we talked about on a video last year. At the end of the season, I got to put those on for the front. And yeah, then we should be pretty close to ready to go, at least for annual tech purposes for the car. As far as plans for the year, we know we're going to track it a lot. We signed up for the whole season of the Oregon Region Porsche Club of America Autocross. It's been a couple of years since we've done more than a handful of autocrosses, and we really enjoy it. It's like one of our favorite activities to do with the car. And it's a good thing to like get out once a month, go drive the car, different situations. But we're also going to do a bunch of track days, and those are actually going to be with the Audi Club. So last year in the fall, we went to Quattro Fest with the S4 and the Boxster, had a blast. They're going to have a whole bunch of track days this year, and we want to go get onto some tracks we haven't been on yet. I've been to Shelton and raced at the airport there and done autocrosses there and stuff, but I haven't actually been around the ridge itself in Shelton. So looking forward to doing the ridge this year. Would like to try to get down to ORP, just to kind of add those to my track list. I've done PIR, obviously, and I've done Pacific, which used to be called Seattle International Raceway. So I'd like to add the other two to the list that kind of have the big four that are local and just kind of get some more experience with the car. I know SCCA is also trying to get the time trial program going. It kind of fell apart with Oregon Region, Northwest Region's picking it up. So if they do an event, we will be there with that as well. So that's kind of our plan for Project Porsche this year. It's been a hot minute since we've used it. So super excited to get this thing out on the track, back going again. But yeah, that's all of the updates on what is going on with the Boxster here at the Plays with Cars YouTube channel. Say hi to the viewers, Mac Mac. That's Mac Mac.